Hey there, FKCO clients. It's good to talk to you again. Can you believe it? It's been about a year since I first reached out to you, alerting you of this PPP. Get this money. Are you glad you got the money? I bet you are. But then also you're like thinking, when's this going to be over? And we were thinking it's just going to be a couple days. Yeah, here we are, a year later. Government's still putting out new programs. Things are changing. But you know what? You're doing a great job. Every day you're making the best decisions you can, so don't forget about that. But the reason why I'm on with you today is there's some important information that's come out just of late that I wanted to communicate to you via video instead of typing it all out for you to read. So if you have about 5 minutes, I'm going to touch on 3 areas that may impact you. And if they do, I'd encourage you to take action. If they don't, thanks for watching the video, and I hope you're doing well. So here's the areas. The IRS and the SBA, Congress, everybody's been very busy, as you know. And as of the last week, there was a change with 2 areas that were existing that I want to make you aware of. Number 1 is the EIDL. For those of you that took advantage of the EIDL loan way back when it came out last March, you probably got loans of up to $150,000. Let me just say this. They've adjusted the payment terms. They've adjusted the amount that you could borrow. And they're talking about whether or not you can still get into the program and borrow money. But they just put out that notification last week, and they said they're going to have more guidance for us the week of April 6th. So sit tight. If you have an EIDL loan, you may hear from your bank. But if you're interested in applying, you may just check the SBA website and follow up on that, because that may be some additional funding that you'd want to take in. And that's a loan, not a free government subsidy, just so you know. Number 2, PPP. The SBA and IRS, thankfully, or Congress, last week got involved and said, the PPP second draw, which many of you may have, was supposed to end on the application period, I think actually in the next couple days. But thankfully, they've extended it to May 31st, so you have some time to go out and apply. And the qualification for that, same as it was when they announced it back in early January of this year, is you had to be down 25% in gross receipts when you compare any quarter in 2020 to the same quarter in 2019. So fourth quarter 2020 versus fourth quarter 2019, if you're down more than 25%, you qualify. You can go to the same bank that you applied with your first PPP. For some folks, it's been a snap because they can just get in there and the bank has all the information. Other folks have had some challenges because the SBA wants some different information. Don't be frustrated. Just work with them, get the money. There's still money available. Just get out and get it. So EIDL, PPP, those are programs that have been around. The other program that had been around was called the Employee Retention Credit, and many folks refer to that as the ERC. And this is the big one that's had some of the biggest changes over the last 3 months. In fact, earlier this month, there was about a 100-page document that came out with some of the clarifications on how this program works. So if you're really bored and you want something to read, I can send you that document. There's a lot of information in there. We've read through the document, tried to grasp it, and this is why we're on this video today, is because this credit is a credit that once was not able to be taken if you took advantage of the PPP. But they redid that in late December and said you can have both the PPP and this ERC. But for 2020, the qualifications are kind of tough, and you may have used all your wages on the PPP, so we're not going to focus on 2020 right now. But what we're going to focus on is 2021, because that's what's right now here in front of us. You haven't even filed those first payroll tax forms, which is how you get this credit. And check this out. They reduced the requirement to where you only have to be down 20% when you compare the receipts in a quarter of 2021 versus 2019. Yes, I said that correct. 2021 versus 2019. So let me give you an example. Let's say in 2019, first quarter, you had receipts of $1 million. And those would just be sales. That's sales, rentals, repairs, any of your receipts of $1 million. And now you look at first quarter of 2021, and let's say you have $850,000 of receipts. Well, that's only down $150,000, 15%. You wouldn't qualify, because to qualify for the ERC, you have to be down 20% when you compare 2021 versus 2019. And by the way, in those receipts, you don't count any of the pandemic income, PPP, EIDL, none of those count as receipts. It's truly sales receipts. But let's say, same example, $1 million of receipts in 19, and you look at 2021 and you have $750,000 of receipts. Well, guess what? That's 25% down. Now you count and you qualify for the ERC. So that's great news, right? Because this credit is a credit that you can take up to $10,000 of wages on any employee on any quarter, and you get a 70% credit on those 10,000 wages. And there's some clarification on what counts of wages. And there's also clarifications if you're using some of those wages for PPP forgiveness, or you've used some for the what's called the First Family Coronavirus Response Act, which would be for wages for people being quarantined, not able to work. So there's some qualifications in there. But just let's talk global here for a second. $10,000 of wages, 70% would give you a $7,000 credit, $7,000 per employee, and it's been extended for all of 2021. So that could be $28,000 in credits that you would get on your 941 form, which is a quarterly payroll tax form. Excited? I hope so. But you got to find out if you qualify. So here's the action steps as you're ending this video today. Number one, if you did not take advantage of the second draw PPP and you're eligible, I would encourage you to get with your banker as quick as you can, because that's full forgiveness money. If you use it according to the plan, they've increased the qualifications of what the expenses are. Payroll can be 24 weeks rent. You can now actually use it on other expenses you do to get yourself COVID compliant, so to speak, any things like that. So there's been a very expansive of that program. So PPP would be number one. Number two, this ERC. In the next day or so, your first quarter is going to end. So you need to compare your receipts from 2021 first quarter to 2019 and see if you're down 20% or more. If you're down 20% or more, great. If you're not, I'm sorry, but that's good for your business. I'm glad you're not down that much. But if you're down, it's great. What do you do? Step two, get out and talk to your payroll company, because your payroll company are the folks that do those 941 reports, and they're going to file those sometime in April, and you need to let them know, hey, I qualify for this credit. Now, you won't have all the data for them yet, but just put them on alert. Don't file that 941 until you get a chance to get back with them. So, find out if you're eligible, notify your payroll company, and number three is where you get to work, because now you have to get in there and look at the wages by person, find out what qualifies for wages, then look at, did you use any of those wages for PPP forgiveness? Are you planning to get forgiveness for them? So there's some strategy that needs to take place to find out how this is going to work. Because as we look at these credits, we find out that the PPP forgiveness, getting free money, is the best credit to get all day long. Then that FFCRA, for somebody being quarantined, that's a great credit because that's a supplementation of the wages as well. But this credit, being 70% of your wages, isn't a bad option, especially if you can take advantage of any of the three that we're talking about today. So you'll have some homework to do. And listen, we're going to try to help with that. You can reach out to us with email. You can look back in the email I sent you, and there's going to be a way that you can engage with us if you're interested in us assisting with that. So those are your steps, and that's the information we want to convey to you today. But I want to leave you with one thought. The thought I want to leave you with is the word patience. One of the things we've learned is patience is key during this pandemic. Some folks ran out, got the PPP very quickly, used it in 8 weeks according to the program, only to find out in their last days that it had been extended to 24 weeks. Some folks went out and applied for forgiveness as soon as the forgiveness came out, and they got forgiveness, and now they're finding that they could have strategized and maybe taken advantage of some of these credits. We just don't know, but I can tell you that we're learning that patience is a key on our side. I mean, heck, the government just changed the deadlines just in the last 10 days on us, and they've made some other changes to unemployment comp. So we've learned that change is happening, and a lot of times it's very favorable for you. So be patient. You're doing the best you can with the information you have today. Keep at it. Let us know if we can be of help. I hope this message is helpful for you, and have a great day.